Yo, this is Taffy, and yes, we can. We're the clan in Mawungira production.
Welcome to another podcast. This is Maungira Emugwenga, Echoes from the Desert, and we have the two usual suspects, Tapi Sense and Tawood Dollar. Today we're going to be talking about the things that are wrong with our educational system and what we can suggest and what we can talk about, and things that even a parent can check on when they are looking at their children and would want to improve their educational standpoint and make them better individuals when they grow up. Gentlemen.
Yes, Monya. Hi, everyone.
King side note.
Yes, I am here in my full capacity. I hope you're well and everything else is good. And I would want your sentiments on the educational system. What is there to improve? What can we learn from other educational systems so that we can make a brighter youth?
Okay. First of all, I think our current education system is built on the Industrial Revolution model and focuses only on IQ and memorization and standardization. And what we must now do is update our education with job readiness, because most of the things we learn in school are not preparing us for jobs. They are just making us academias. We are good at memorizing, knowing stuff, and that's it. It doesn't prepare us for life after school, jobs that are available in the market. The education system, I think, is lacking on that. And also, education access and quality must be improved to solve the global education crisis. As we speak, 72 million children of primary education are not in school.
But let's talk about that.
72
Let's talk about that.
million.
Let's talk about, before we talk about how many millions are not in school.
72 million.
Let's talk about what the education system is actually churning out. Now, you are saying there's no job readiness. But whose fault is this? Whose fault is this? Can we honestly say this is the education system's fault?
Okay, according to what I said, this is my interpretation of it, is that the job market that is being institutionalized into children to be ready for is not the same job market which is there.
It's no longer relevant.
So that means, what it means, my understanding is the Industrial Revolution tailored the education system for
The industrial
that
revolution.
Industrial Revolution.
Yes.
Exactly.
Now, whatever revolution that we have now, be it in our country, the Hondo Eminda Revolution,
Yeah.
that revolution has not gone and tailored the education system for that revolution. So this cannot be the problem of the education system. This has to do with a lot of the people who are in power, as industrialists who are in power, as CEOs in power, as government ministers who are in power. You see, these people are not looking at what is required in the economy,
Okay.
and therefore going back. You see, it's a strategy. I think we were talking about it sometime. It's a strategy issue. A lot of our leaders lack strategy, lack foresight. Right? They don't understand that, okay, we've done this revolution. We are now into information technology. We are now into AI. They don't understand that once we've done this, we need people who push the frontiers of AI. Therefore, we need people who start at an early age to be coding, you are going to meet coding and programming at a very later stage in your
At
life.
university.
Yes.
But this is the problem.
But then that's what we are talking about, that these are the problems with the education sector.
At the
That,
moment.
you know, it's not an issue of you finishing your O's and your A levels and then you start saying, now, what do I want to be in life? It's something that's supposed to be seen within you from primary school. That
Exactly.
this person has a passion for this, right?
So you're
And
playing
then-
games.
And then they
push you
promote
towards
him.
it.
They push you towards it, and then they say that okay, fine, we've pushed him towards the arts,
But see what you're doing, you're playing games and you're finishing all the games. You now need to produce a game which someone else will never be able to get to the end of.
okay.
right? This is what is supposed to be done. What we are doing instead, like Tao already said, is we are memorizing, we are churning out
Standardizing.
facts. Nowadays, even in these schools that my kids are going to, for example, they do not want you to know the complete times table because they say it's good for you to know it, but even if you don't know it, you have a calculator. What is the smallest smallest living thing, and you say an atom or cell. This kind of knowledge, you might have grown up with it, but it's not necessary anymore, because even if you don't know it, Google does, and
But-
your phone
Yes.
knows it. You
But
can
this-
check it.
But this is what we are saying, that for you not to waste a child's time making, because we've had these things ever since we were going to school, that if you're not in the science classes, you're not bright. If you're doing arts, then you're that person who's just
But all the guys who did arts are now the lawyers.
Yes, they're the
These
lawyers.
are actually who
They're-
are leading the countries.
Yes. So you see, it's not this stigma that
It's standardization,
yes.
like
This
it's
stigma.
standardization. Either you are here or
Or
you are
you're
there.
there. Yeah.
There's no flexibility within the current education system. It's you're a doctor, science doctor, you're engineer, you're a commercial accountant. It's not designed to accommodate the current setup, right? Where we have right now. We have machine learning coming up. We have so many things that are happening. Like you were talking about artificial intelligence. So these curriculums are no longer relevant, in the sense that when someone finishes school, like Munya is saying, you have to start thinking, so now what can I do? What courses can I do? But if it were that you started coding when you're in primary school, even when you go to high school,
Yeah.
you know you want to be a programmer, and it's already in you. It's easy for you to come up with something better than what's happening, because you start early. But there's no
Correct. Now, do you think it is the teachers who are going to do this? Because this curriculum is set by, it's a policy for you to learn a certain number of languages at school. It's a policy for Matabeleland North, Matabeleland South, Midlands to learn Ndebele as a language.
I understand.
It's a policy
Yeah.
for Mashonaland and to learn Shona as a language. Now, but in actual fact, you've got a lot of French-speaking countries, German. You've got China, which is coming up as a global powerhouse. Who is supposed to come up with this? It's the industry
This
itself,
is
I
the
think.
point that I would want to speak now, that it's not only an issue that people, when you send your child to school is supposed to do things for you. You as a parent also, you have an active initiative to see what your child does at home. You see their mannerisms, you see what they are interested in, you see what they excel in, you see where they have difficulties. Thereby, it has to be, education is not supposed to start and stop at school. It's supposed to be an interaction between the parents who send their children to school with the school. It being a knowledge center, having the knowledge that they can provide, has to tell them, okay, fine, if you're telling me that this child is really handy with the camera, loves to put small videos together, loves to be acting, loves to sing, they love the arts. So we at this school, we can offer this, and this. So it's not only about the school, it's not only about policies, it's not only about that. From there now, that's when you can honestly start talking about issues like we have languages which are really needed for the international market and stuff like that. But only after you identify what the child excels in, what the child has a passion in, then you can start from there and say, okay, fine, what can we do to better the child? Give them a broader vision to expand and give them, what's the word? Give them, there's a word that we were talking about, exposure to what they can do, what they already know how to do, how it can be done. And then that's when now you come in and say, but do you know that, for example, what you want is majored in or is specialized in China. So most probably you might need to speak some Chinese. You really need to take a lesson for Chinese. Things like that. This is where I'm coming from and where I'm going.
I understand, and it makes sense. But then, for you to get to that point, what needs to be there is a policy, a conscious movement to identifying the strengths and weaknesses of children, and therefore work on their strengths and limit their weaknesses. But the policy that you have at the moment, the policies that we have at the moment are such that, consider what just happened due to COVID, are such that when you decide to evaluate children based on their coursework, like what happened this year, you have, even in UK where they wrote the Cambridge, and also one of the largest boards in India, you have children getting marks which are 2-3 grades lower than what they would have got. Even their teachers are testifying to the same. It's a huge scandal even in UK, where they're actually asking the secretary for this particular sector of the economy to resign. What it means is, if coursework is giving wrong results, the children are either memorizing, or the coursework itself is not structured correctly. Therefore, what we are having is a situation where the education, even when they get the A's, even when they get the A pluses, when you then put them in industry, when you then put them to what we have, where either it be in industry or them to create industry, they are not ready to do it.
Because they are limited.
They are limited because what they know affects. But as much as this
In
person might
memorization.
actually have memorized what the smallest part, indivisible part is, right? And say what an atom is. In reality, the useful knowledge of knowing what an atom
Is no longer relevant
is
now.
not there, because only when they've worked 2 years do they understand why we need to know what an atom is. When they are working with the atomic ray gun, when they are working with the atom, this is when they understand, this is why I'm
But this
learning
was
this.
the point I was talking, that for you, this is a system which is based on, for you, if you are not in a sciences class, you are not doing well at school. If you are in an arts class, then you are the bottom of the pile, right? But that's why I am saying that this interaction between the center of knowledge, which is the school, and the parent who stays with the child at home, to interact so much. Because if you take Zim, for example, the only partnership which is there between the school and the parent is, have you paid your fees? Have you bought the child uniform? Have you given us the requirements we
And
want
the
for your
books.
child today, and the books and what, and that's it. Or we now want to raise fees, so you have to come to a SDA meeting and blah, blah. There are no meetings that are telling us, and you have Parents' Day, but then Parents' Day is more like that, he's good at maths, he's bad at English, he's a really bad boy. But we
He
do not-
doesn't comb his hair.
Yeah, but then we are not having these issues that we are talking about. Okay, fine, he's not good at maths, right? We can work on him for his math to improve. But now you're saying that he's good at content and English, right? How many subjects are based? How many careers are based on content and English? A lot, right? How can we further expand his brilliance in content in English to make him someone? And then we tell him that, yeah, you need some math. You really do need math, right? But it's not a priority that, he's not doing good at math. So
He's a failure.
He's a failure. It's not a good
So what it means,
student.
Tao, is the formula that we have, the method, the plan that we have, the workings that we have, where we've got so many limited subjects, where you have said content, right? The way that is limited, therefore, is actually outdated.
It's outdated.
We
like-
shouldn't have that.
No,
You
we
should
shouldn't.
actually have, from a very young age, grade 1, grade 2, maybe not in the first, what do you call the first?
Kindergarten.
Not in kindergarten, not in pre-grade 1. There's another word that they're calling that one.
Grade
Not-
zero.
Grade 0, not in grade 0. Maybe not even grade 1, grade 2, maybe grade 3. These people should be
exposed to subjects. Don't give them 4 subjects and say these are the 4 It's actually so outdated that no other country is still doing it right now.
Yeah,
You
like-
don't have this
it's actually-
limited, this blinkered view to world as being, because children grow up, and they're still doing it right now. You grow up knowing that you are doing English, you are doing math,
Science.
you are doing content,
Content.
and you are doing
Shona.
Shona
Or
or
Ndebele.
Ndebele
Or whatever language.
or whatever language that is there. Now, that's so blinkered, that's so limited. A person who is 8 years old, by all intents, knows that they can draw or not.
Yeah. You know.
So if you put them in an art class or you give them an option of art class, you fine, you hone, you tune the skills of
An
an artist
Yeah.
at a young age.
Yeah.
Like
So
me.
that what they were going to do at college, they're already
something,
doing it
yes.
at 8 years.
They have
So they now
foundation
have 10 years
Yeah.
before
of-
college.
Because this is what I'm saying, that, you know, it's not supposed to be an issue that just because your child is not good at English, then you're supposed to fret over it when you go to these parent
It's
teacher
important to
meetings.
have English.
It's important to have English, right? But what is he excelling in? Because I
we
believe
should focus on strengths.
because I believe
More
this
than
is-
weaknesses.
This is especially in them. This is the problem that we have. If a child is failing in math and English, is good in content and Shona, you would rather him sacrifice content and Shona for him to be good in math and English. But content and Shona, because that content, what we call content in primary school level, that is an explosion of a lot.
But really, is it still working like that? Do we still have content in
I think
in
they
primary
changed
school?
it to something. I don't know. I don't know the current setup, but you guys
so
can
outdated
comment
to have
and advise us if you know of any changes. I wanted to say, just, but gentlemen, before you proceed, I wanted to just read you something that our current education system is built on the Industrial Revolution, like I said, and it focuses on IQ and memorization and standardization.
Do you know
skills.
why it focuses on memorization?
Because it has to supply, it needed to supply skills to the industries.
Right.
That was
so the
set
industry, when you go into industry, right? If you're going to be a manager, you are the one who's so good at memorizing, you're the one who knows everything. But if you can just follow instruction, lift, press, push, lift, press, push, you are in a line where you can actually just lift, right? The industrial line put something under, you press, you push, and then you lift again. So if you can do those things, which is what the system was designed to do, you can do memorization. You can easily be employed. So they'll ask you, you need so many points at all levels. They'll ask you need so many at this, so that you are able to lift, press, push.
Yes, Taffy, I understand what you're saying. But now you should understand that these standardization skills will be easily and efficiently supplanted by artificial intelligence and
that's-
augmented intelligence,
This is what-
AI,
yeah, this is
where
what I
IQ
wanted.
alone now is no longer sufficient. So we now need a good blend of IQ, intelligence, and emotional intelligence plus resilience, which is critical to unleashing a
Because
student's potential.
what I believe is that a child's education is the same as the project that we talked about. A child's education, you need to focus on what they are good at. The children, when they grow, they might not know that this is the vision, but they will grow up in an environment where they know that my vision is being supported. My vision, how are we supporting the vision? We're supporting the vision by giving them subjects which are to their strength. As much as there are some subjects that they do which are offered by the Center of Education,
Knowledge, education.
and intelligence, right? But these guys are, these things now are just supporting mechanisms to where I want to be. I know I'm not good at math, but I'm a good public speaker. And I'm bold. I like the environment. You can be an environmentalist. We'll teach you more about environmental science and environmental things. Even if you're not good at integrated science, but they know that if they teach you this, because you have the passion to learn, to listen about environmental science, you are going to work to your bone to understand science, right? But if you do not have that drive, you do not have that passion now, it's just you going to school. You're just going. What do you want to be? I don't know. I'll see when I'm done with my A level and.
Which is not so bad, not knowing.
Not knowing is not
But-
bad.
but Munya-
But not knowing for someone who believes that they know, right? Because you have this small voice which speaks within you. I know I really want to be this. I want to be this, but no one supports you. And then after years, when you finish school now, that's when you see that. But I can be this. But all these
Time
years
is
you have wasted. You could have been this in your prime when you were still younger. You could have had a higher trajectory to your goal and purpose.
So
this is what we're saying.
there's a bridge actually. You can tell from the way we discussed it that there's a bridge between when you finish school and when you start a job. There's a bridge of readiness is not there. Someone has to think about what do I want to be. Then you decide. Then you go for it. So that there's a bridge that's there that we can see
Okay,
that
fine.
there's a bridge.
This is fine. So let us talk about the issue where people say the education system itself is actually geared to churning out employees rather than bringing out employers.
Yes,
And
it is.
entrepreneurs. Because
Because
most of these
of
guys,
that
even if you see most of these guys, they dropped out of university. They dropped out of advanced level
Gates.
school.
Jeff Bezos.
They drop out and then
All
because
these names.
but you do not have these people like always. There are some people in their background, they know that their parents will never tolerate him saying, you know what, the school system and the way you want me to be molded by it is not what I want to do, but I have a vision. There are a few of these.
Boy, I'll whoop you.
Yes.
What you saying?
You see?
I'll whoop you.
So
Your
you see,
family,
from
we
here
are
back to
all
school, I'll
lawyers. You
definitely
have to
whoop
be a
you.
lawyer.
Yeah.
No, everyone in our
Yes.
family is a lawyer. You
And-
have to
and-
be a lawyer.
And the parents
That might be a generational case.
But you don't want to be a lawyer. You're like, I want to be.
And also, this is what I'm saying, that parents in the modern day age should be open. As much as you would want, you really want the best for your child, but your child might not be the doctor. But then, we grew up in this situation whereby, my child is going to
Doctors
school
were the
nowadays.
best.
He's going to be my
But
doctor.
now doctors are
that-
rebarat.
That's
You see, so we
that's
have
the industrial revolution
this is-
kind of thinking.
this is whereby we need parents not to limit their children. You observe. You also see, because as a parent you know what's best for your child. You see what they do. You can already identify, my child likes this.
You have
But
a,
how many children will actually listen to that? You see, there are so many children
It's for me it's
even though, because you see, we are talking about an issue where things are ingrained in the society, things are ingrained in the culture that we live. Science is the best students, arts are the worst, commercials are those who try,
In the
but
middle.
they're not really good.
But what
This
I-
kind of
what
thing.
I am saying-
So when your child themselves, even if you notice that this one, the way they tell you, Daddy, I heard this about this. Mama, I heard this about this. Do you know that I found out information that this can be? They are up to date with the topical issues. They are a very good journalist, might even make a great investigative journalist.
Yeah.
And you see it and you say, you need to go into journalism, you need to go into media studies, you need to go into,
it's that
how
is
many children will listen to this
This
when
is-
their school is telling them
Listen,
because you are doing arts,
this-
you are lower than the size
This
guy?
is what I am saying, that if you have a conversation between the center of knowledge and the parent, the center of knowledge is going to move away from this is the best thing for my child to what's the best we can bring out from this
your
child.
So it should be a consultative
Yes.
process between the
Because-
schools and the parents.
And the parent, because what you have now, if you're going to do that, you're going to have a situation whereby you, as the parent, you're going to motivate your child, you're going to support your child, you're going to tell them, no, I've seen you, I've seen how you write your essays, I've seen how you do this, I've seen how your analytical skills are, you're supposed to be this. When they go to school, they tell you, no, you know what, if you're going to do journalism, what the hell is journalism? Right? There's a breakdown in communication between the center of knowledge and the parent. The parent and the center of knowledge come together, they are going to come to an agreement. Center of knowledge is going to monitor your child because they have the records of how your child performs academically. You are going to give them more information because you monitor your child when your child is at home, is being social and what I have seen. He's a very analytical person, but he loves also football, you know. Let him do sports administration because he's good also with numbers. You see, things like that. So it's one with the other, not that my parent tells me this. This is where you get...
So bottom line is the system as it is right now is not correct, because
It's
not
very
only
flawed.
is it failing to meet the demand of what is required by industry and by humanity,
Yeah.
it is also failing the people that it is bringing out. So people are going out and becoming whatever they are, but frustrated in their lives because they are not what they should be.
Yeah,
because you see someone
that bridge that I was talking
is
about.
now in a professional setup. They have their job. They had to study for years and years for this job. But then someone is going to come up to them and then say, you know, you would really be a good talk show host. Your voice, the way you talk, the way you ask questions, you would really fit the position well.
But one day when that
But
person
this-
was very young, when they said, I want to be on TV,
they were told, shut up. What are you
now
talking about? There's
they are
no
now a
man.
doctor,
Yeah.
but they are there, but somebody is telling them you don't have a profession, you have an occupation. You
and
are a
there's
skilled
and also-
laborer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always there's a burning passion within those people that, you know, inside, like deep inside, everyone knows
School
that
is failing us.
So-
school is failing us a lot, and
For me,
we
it's-
need to address those
Yeah.
that bridge. Like I was saying, there's a bridge between school and job market.
Because it's-
People are not ready.
Because it goes further than just academia. Because, for example, let me ask you one question. When you were doing sports at school, and then you excel from your zone, you excel from your district, and then you go to regional. All these three steps, you'd be hit by that wow factor. That, wow, I'm doing my district now. Wow, I'm in the region now. Wow, I'm doing the province now. Wow, I've been selected for Zimbabwe, you know. That shock, it's not supposed to be there. Because these things are supposed to be there. That if you can get into the Zim athletics team for under 16s and you're running for under 18s, people should be building you up that no, you do you. Concentrate on your performance. Concentrate on being mentally fit.
Actually, Munya, you should say you recognize that your child is good at sports. Lean them towards sports academy, whereby they are learning at the same time, harnessing their honing their sporting
but
skills.
Tafi, my point is that even though if you take them to a sports academy, right, these things should be things which are in the school setup. That even if, you know, there were times when we would go to these Class A schools, right, and then you see that for a normal training session, they get oranges, they get water, you know, they get all these electrolytes and what. These are the things that we got when it was race
sports day.
when it was sports day. But these things are there when they're training and what, you know. They have people asking them on their fitness, how are you feeling? How's that ankle?
Leg,
Is
how's
it
it
still, does it still
hurting?
hurt? Sit down, let me assess it, you know. For you now, you have this wow factor like, oh my goodness, this is so much. It can affect your performance because it's coming to you so much. Everything is just in your face. But that's what we are saying, that if we have this communication, no matter the economical scale of where we are learning or where we are coming from, but if we have this conversation between the center of knowledge and the parents, you will see that some parents will say, okay, fine, you know what? It's not that I'm doing good, but I have a small company. I can sponsor the football first 11. Right? That sponsorship for the football first 11 will be taken by the school. The school seeing this, they can trickle down that money up to the under 14s. But then what we have now is a situation whereby you get your jerseys every year. So the next jersey that you wear this year is not the same jersey you wear next year. This is exposure now. You get electrolytes. You have someone who will see you at this maybe you're a doctor and you're doing well, you know. You have medical centers all over the place. You say, I know any injury, let them come to my medical center. I will do the operations and whatever for free, you know. Consultations and everything is on me. So now it's not something that it it hits your child like, oh my goodness, they're doing this for me, so I have to perform. No, this is the process that you have to go through if you're going through this
To become a
to
star. in
become
this
a
sport.
star.
Exactly. So what it means is the football fraternity. You see what I mean now? This is where I was going. It is just as Tao had said, is the education is still so industrial revolution
Based.
centered and based.
Yeah.
The football fraternity, the intelligence community, the computers and infotex,
Yeah.
the artificial, the doctors, these industries are supposed to input now, and it should be a continuous process. They are supposed to input now what they understand they are lacking at the moment, and therefore the system is supposed to churn out for them. Otherwise, without this, with people coming up and saying, no, we should just, I think there was one minister who said we should now all wear uniforms or something
We should all
for
wear
teach-
uniforms,
National
for
uniform.
national uniform.
Teachers also should wear khaki.
These kind of policies are the wrong policies when you need to be going forward. You need the industry, you need the art industry to come and say, no, we have moved away from the 13th century, the so much famous art which brought about the Madonna,
Da
which
Vinci's.
brought about, all these Michelangelo. We have moved away. Art has evolved to this stage. We now need people to read about contemporary art,
artists, yes.
and therefore
Abstract
move
artists.
and bring out their own, so that in the school system provides the
That
art
platform.
industry with these
platform.
people.
And then if your child wants to be, invested in that old medieval type of art now, it's more of a major. But they have been given the platform to do what they do so that they can excel in it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now what we are having is the school is churning out people for a
Standard.
revolution that happened long back,
Yeah.
Which is
and
no longer
people who
relevant.
are no longer relevant in industry.
Yes, we do, and we have like 34% of students believe their schools are not preparing them for success in the job market.
Now imagine
We
if
need-
students are
we
are
need
believing
to-
like that. What more the industry itself?
We need to bridge that we need to bridge that gap from education to employability. And you know what? 60% of future jobs haven't been developed yet, and 40% of nursery age children, kindergartens and schools today will need to be self-employed to have any source of income.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Because you see, for me,
there's now we are not preparing for jobs that are there. 40% is not ready for 60%.
of the jobs that could be there.
Yes.
Because, for me, it really aches me when you're talking to someone, they've got a good job, they've got a good salary, and they tell me, I really hate my job.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this is the same job, that you always grew up and you were like, if I get that job, I really want that job. But then due to how you grew up and due to how the education system told
brought
you,
you out.
it diverted you from that. But this was your passion. You even had a vision. After I get to this, I'm going to change this. I'm going to revolutionize it this way.
Exactly.
Because there's no way that we are going to be, if it's Zimbabwe or any other country, there's no way that your economy is going to be a breakout revolutionary in things, or is going to be, the one which is technologically advanced without people who have that vision.
There has to be passion.
There have to be passion. For you to have a vision for something, you have to have passion with it. And then you
See what is
You
wrong
see,
with it,
yeah.
understand how it can
Understand
be
it,
better,
and
and,
then-
know how to move it
and
forward.
then you show people that, did you know that A, B, C, D is not A, B, C, D?
It's actually X, Y, Z, comes back to RST.
And then people are like, huh? And you say, let me show you physically. People be like, ooh.
Yeah, that's true, Munya.
Why
we
didn't we
need
think about this before?
You
we
did not think about it because you do not share the same passion that I have.
and we like Tavi was saying, we need people to be flexible. Like you were saying, like we A, B, C, D, E is F. You know, even let's say musically, there's someone who's playing. There's a way that you're taught how to play the piano.
Yeah.
But when the child goes home, like they are thinking, you know what? I've learned this, but what if I put what I've learned, what if I change it? What happens?
Yeah.
We need that kind of revolution in the way we do our education, like people coming up with different out of the box kind of thinking.
Yeah.
We don't have out of the box kind
Yeah.
of thinking. The way our education system is structured is box, 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 school, job,
And
school,
there's a problem
job.
with that. The problem is the people who are being taught like this, or who were taught like this, are you and me.
Are the parents.
Right. And we are the parents. So what we are doing, because we are now in
We're
industry,
using the same mold.
no. Some of us have actually removed this clock that was put on us of conformity and coming up with different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
But because we are coming up with different ways of doing things, our industries that we are developing need people who are attuned to the different way of doing things. However, the system is still churning out people who are doing things the same way.
Job, school, job.
It's exactly the same thing that has been happening in the pandemic. The managers, the bosses, the CEOs found it very difficult for people to be working at home. But a lot of companies actually have people working in an office when they could actually be working at home.
home, yeah.
We forget that the reason we are alive is not to work but to enjoy. Now, if you remove 2 hours of my day every day for commuting to
work.
and from work, and I work from home and still
I'm going to be a
get
happy,
8 hours done.
I'm going to be a happier person.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a happier person, what does that mean as an employee?
I'm going to be productive.
Better quality of work.
You see. Now, a lot of people didn't understand this. So there are people who now still haven't gone back to work because their work does not require them to be in an office set up with someone. Once in a while for a meeting, once in a while
Yeah,
for this.
yeah.
Yeah. But it is not necessary. So you will find that some companies which had huge
Labor force.
buildings,
Yeah.
one whole HQ,
They're suffering.
they were suffering. But now what? All these people can now, a certain number of people are in this location. You can distribute this big building block,
Yeah.
and it goes, and your rents become less,
And less, yeah.
the people become happier. But it is because you have thought outside the box. The people who, this has been brought by a pandemic, but people who were thinking outside the box, there were already companies who were going like
We're
this.
doing, yeah.
We're
But
doing
then-
this.
but now, to
Now
take,
you can't do this from somebody who was
take-
memorizing and
to take that
regurgitating facts.
To take that issue back now to education in the schools and children, imagine a society whereby you grow, you nurture your children to grow up to do what they are passionate about positively, to be professionals in what they feel deep down that this is what I can do. You give them that platform. You give them the extra push. You give them so much support so that they can excel in what they can do. They can change a society.
Exactly.
Because it's not more now about going to school is a chore. Because honestly speaking, going to school for a lot of children is a chore.
It is.
It's something that mom and dad had to make me do.
Yes.
But they don't understand that, no, going to school is to broaden your horizon, learn
Those
new
who
things.
do understand, I have to do it because a lot of money is being paid.
Yes. You see? So, one way or the other, there's this attachment to it that I have to do it because. You see? I have to do it because
and
mom and dad
some
say.
of them have like a rebellious attitude
Yeah.
towards school. Some students, I'll tell you, will not do good, not because they are not intelligent,
No,
but
but
because it's a
being
rebellion
forced to,
against
yeah.
that what their parents are saying, go to law school, go and be a doctor. But he or she doesn't want to be a doctor.
But then imagine that rebel. That rebel is a good artist. He's really good with the pencil.
He's a good guitarist.
He's a good guitarist.
Focus.
Yeah.
They are told. and
You want to
they
draw
will-
people's portraits. Who's going to do that? Who's
What
going
kind of
to-
life is that?
what kind- no, but then the world
Has changed.
has changed, and there is a market
Everything
for everything.
has become relevant. Every
Everything,
skill
yeah.
has become relevant. No matter even if it's the silliest thing that you think is not really professional, but you'd be surprised how many people actually want what someone is doing.
Yeah.
I was reading this. There's a kid who was shooting short videos about his toys. He's now a millionaire.
Yeah, he's a millionaire.
He's a kid. He hasn't even gone to school, Tavi. He hasn't even started education, but he's a millionaire. But what we've been taught, you need to go to school to become a millionaire.
Yeah.
But now, here's an example of what's happening now. He's just shooting a video because he likes toys, and companies are now buying into what he's doing. So
and they sponsor, they give him
Yeah.
their toys
So
for him.
what's the point
so he
of-
keeps getting free toys
what's the point of him
and
going to
getting
school?
more money.
What's the point of him
which
going to
subject, Which subject is he being taught to do that? Nothing.
What's the point of him going to school now? He'll tell you, I'm a millionaire now. So what's the process of me going to
This is
school?
the kid that you now need to make understand that you need to know how to balance your books. Otherwise, your accountant is going to steal your money.
Exactly.
Yes, but that's now a different perspective from just you
Just
have to go to school.
But which is what we need to teach our kids. You need to know mathematics so that when you pay $10 in a bus which costs $1.45, you know how much is your
Yes.
change.
Because most of these artists, you see that they're being swindled from their heart.
So
and
so-
Rihanna had to sing a song.
Yeah.
You
the
better give me
accountant,
my
I know
money.
the accountant,
You better give me my
actually
money.
did wrong to Rihanna. But Tafi, so now it becomes that education should just be a basic understanding of concept, principles of how things work. But beyond
that, people should be taken as to what they have an aptitude for, what they have
Orientation
an
for-
a passion for, and what they actually lean towards, what they like, how they do. Even if they don't show a passion, this is where school will come in. Even though you don't show a passion
there's
of
a
it,
foundation.
but look at this. You are extremely good at this. Even if you don't like it, please consider it. We'll also take you for your passion, but consider this as well.
Yes.
Do them together.
there's a foundation.
And on a side note, I believe in
Here we go with
Zimbabwe.
side notes.
I believe in Zimbabwe that from a young age,
Big up Zimsek.
as much. Do you know that Zimbabwe in the world is the only country that has more languages, official languages?
Really?
Yeah,
How many official languages do we have?
16. We have
We have
16.
16 official languages.
We are the most in the world. 16.
Really?
I know a
Right.
lot of countries have a lot of languages, but in terms of official, most of
Like
them have one,
India.
2, or 3.
Like India's
South-
Hindi.
South
India doesn't have a lot of official languages.
But it's
It's
South
got
Africa.
a huge,
Number
probably
of
hundreds.
language.
South Africa has 11. We have 16. But what I wanted to say on the side note is that as much as we have 16, 16 can be explored when you give your child the platform. But I'm just appealing to the Ministry of Education that, you know what, Ndebele and Shona should be taught across the board. From
Simple.
Matabeleland to...
The way English is done.
Mashonaland, yeah.
The way English is done.
Yeah.
Should be
Simple.
an option. Do
Yeah.
you want
There is
Shona?
no reason
Do you
why
want develop-
someone
No, it's not,
in
it's
You want
not,
both?
no, it's not supposed to be an option, Tao. It's supposed to be when you are grade 1, you learn Shona,
Yes.
English, and Ndebele.
Yes. There's
Okay.
no reason why people from Mutare and Silovela have to revert to English
To
to communicate.
No, it doesn't make sense. I would love...
What
you
should
know-
happen actually is the person in Mutare will speak their Manyika with
Manyika
their deep dialect
to someone,
and someone in
Silovela
Silovela
will speak
will be
Ndebele.
speaking in their Ndebele,
But
and
they
they'll be
understand
answering
each
each other and understanding
Exactly,
each other.
yeah.
This is the best.
This is...
This is what should actually be happening.
And I believe this
Wow.
unifies a country.
Wow.
Wow.
No, it's a
No,
wow.
this is not a wow moment.
wow.
This is not a wow moment. It's a wow moment. The proper
That's true.
wow.
We
Okay, so-
would appreciate that kind of thing
Yeah,
from
so-
Ministry of
So
Education.
the policies,
Big up
we are
Ministry of
we are
Education.
saying the policies,
Uh-huh.
as much as they are formulated. I think even in government, if they understand that we have a gap,
Uh-huh.
they themselves should do an outreach before they come up with these policies.
Yes.
Don't just say people, oh, even teachers should wear uniforms. No.
No.
Come up with an outreach program. Sit down. Who are the stakeholders? Industry. What are the industries in the heavy industries?
Yeah.
The industry in arts, the industries in theater, the industries in science, the industry, whatever industry it
Agriculture,
is, culture.
tobacco.
Find out what they want, right? If agriculture needs more people who are very scientific, start teaching it. If agriculture needs more people who are very mechanical, let people memorize and send them to agriculture. You need to find out what is required in the country, meet the need,
Yes.
and you will actually find that those people who have told you what is required will be able to grow, expand,
And support.
and the country
The-
will
the
go
country,
forward.
yeah.
And so
These are the
Tafi,
ideas that we are talking about.
in basic, you're saying that no matter be it a country, we should tailor make our education curriculum to fulfill not only our current situation but also our vision.
Our
as
vision,
a
where are
country.
we going?
So
Should
that
always keep on
aspiring
Children who are coming in today as grade zeros, if they're earmarked that,
My goodness.
we have, I don't know.
Chinese.
Now, those children who are going in as grade zero, they should actually be tailor-made, specifically right. We are coming up with a computer revolution, for example, and the next 4-5 years is going to be that. After that, our computers are going to be so widespread across the country that everything is going to be done by computers. But since it's going to be done by computers, we are going to need
People to control the
control
to
the
program the
computers. And
computers.
we are going to need
Let's
people
have-
to have security for these computers.
Let's have
When
these
we are
people
these
skilled.
people should
We
come
need
now.
people who are going to set up the infrastructure for these computers to be.
So this is another. So this is the what you are supposed to be teaching these kids as they grow up.
Yeah.
You don't have to be teaching them how to wear a harness, but if they understand that safety is important at work, even from a young age,
They
it
will
would not be very difficult to
offer
get
them-
someone to wear a helmet or to wear a harness.
Of course, true.
You see, it. So that is how you mold people to the national objective,
Okay.
to the strategy, to the future. Let's hope we get people who are in policy making or who have influence to ask people, let them listen to this.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a one or
It's-
two
yeah.
ideas.
Let-
Let them
let's-
not
let's-
pick
let's
everything.
be,
Let's also keep the
progressive
discussion going.
and let's not be reactionary. Let's be ahead of the game. Let us think of the future of our country,
Our country, yeah.
even the world. Actually,
Yes.
let's be
It's
in
a
line with the
humanity
world.
thing.
Let's
Yeah.
be in line with our country. What do we want? Where are we going?
Because
then we tailor make.
we're now living in a global village. So
Exactly.
if you are behind, you are behind. So we really need to step up our game and really need to step up to the plate and show people that this is what Zimbabwe
Exactly,
can
because
offer as well.
what you don't offer, the whole world will continue.
Yeah.
But when you do offer it, the whole world is actually better.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
they will look to you. You know, so it's good for the country as well. On that note, this was our podcast. We're talking about how the educational system in general can improve.
What issues are going on with the education system?
Yeah. So you can catch us on our platforms: Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Radio Public, and
And actually, we now have a Facebook page.
yeah, we have a Facebook page, Maungia Clan Facebook page. We're going to be posting snippets of all the episodes so that you can just hear what we're about, and then you can check into the episode that you want, and you can listen to it for more details. So, guys, any final thoughts?
We're out.
Okay.
Thank you guys for listening. Catch you on wherever you listen to. We are there.
Okay. And as always, guys, let's keep the conversation going.